Hello, I'm Tony, and welcome to the Tony Shap Show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I have a special guest with us this week. His name is D. I am super pumped and excited for him to share with us who he is, what he does, and who he helps, because he's up to a big thing, and I'm going to let him speak to that. But with all that said, D, I wanted to give you a big, warm welcome to the Tony Shap Show.
Thank you, Tony. Glad to be here.
Of course, let's start off with the one word open. What is that one word that you could share with our audience right now to describe how you're feeling?
Mindful.
Mindful. Very cool. Okay. So let's talk business. Tell us about your business, how you got started, your why, who you help, where you are, and where you're going.
Great question, Tony. I'm a serial entrepreneur. This is my fourth startup. And, ever since I finished grad school, I've just been working hard, starting one company after the other. And I've been fairly successful, and it's awesome. But, burnout is real. When we work so hard, when we work so many late hours, we're flying all over the world, you get burnt out. So I got burnt out. I got depressed. I had severe stress anxiety problems. So my wife and I decided we're going to take some time off. We're going to focus on ourselves, self-care, which is more popular after COVID than it was before. And we took a year and we found mindfulness meditation as a way to deal with depression, stress, and anxiety, which led us to start Wellness Coach.
That is awesome. And who do you typically help? Who's that perfect person that you make the biggest impact to?
We have this grand vision to help 5 billion people be their best self. And 5 billion is like the 5 billion people that are probably stressed out, which is 70% of the population. Go-to-market strategy, we are focused on businesses, at least for now. We're a B2B2E company, which is business to business employees. And the reason we want to do that, Tony, we wanted companies to pay for Wellness Coach as a benefit to their employees, just like they would pay for they would pay for healthcare, dental, vision. Mental health is up there. In fact, it's more important. If you take care of your mind, you can take care of your body, you can take care of your finances, you can take care of so many other things. So really, our model is to go to human resources at large companies and say, hey, you have to add this as a benefit, and we'll show them the return on that benefit, and then employees get it for no charge.
That is beautiful. For those of the founders that are listening right now, and if they're VC backed and they want to create that culture and they want to create that growth, that's perfect for them, what you do. That's really great. So let's talk about recent wins. Can you share with us a recent win that you've experienced and also what you learned from it?
Yeah, again, being a serial entrepreneur, having done this a few times, it's nerve-wracking to starting a new company again and really trying to see if there's a market for your product, finding that product market fit. And there's a lot of things that came out of COVID. One thing that came out of COVID as positive is people can talk about their mental health without being stigmatized or without being looked down upon. I talk about my depression, anxiety, and I wasn't probably as open. And so I think the win has been throughout this really tough time that everybody went through last year and still going through this year, we found a perfect product market fit where our solution and the problem sort of had a baby, had an incredible match. And I've been very happy that we're able to help so many people now with that product market fit. And since then, we sort of just started to scale the company. We're hiring like crazy. We just hired our chief revenue officer, Jim Kelly. He's built a billion-dollar company before. So we're just like, once we have the product market fit, now it's really trying to scale it so we can scale the solution, help a lot more people.
That's wonderful. And I'm glad you mentioned your recent hire. I think, like everyone talks about, it's your team and what their capability. And if you want to go to a certain place, it's always nice to hire someone who's been there before. I just read a book, I forgot which one it was, but they were talking to along the lines of, hey, you want to get to the Super Bowl, hire up someone that's been there before, kind of like, the team that's in your state. So one of the teams in your state. Very cool. Let's talk about a recent not so win. D, if you could share with us what that was, what you learned from it, so you could give some key takeaways for our listeners.
Yeah, I think there's two on that, and there's so many mistakes I make all the time. We spend an hour talking about not so wins, but I'll focus on two. The first one is actually exactly the opposite of what I did. So I just hired somebody very, very experienced that has built a company before and has built the revenue from 0 to 50 million, and before that, I hired a lot of first timers in the same company and hoped that they could learn the ropes of building a company, and had expectations that were not right. And actually, it wasn't their fault, it was my fault. There's a saying that doubt kills more companies than a failure. I was doubting my own capability to hire the best talent, so I kept hiring people that weren't the best and I was more comfortable with. So it was like my own insecurities were making us fail. And it took me a little bit to realize that. And I think a lot of folks who are actually going through mental health issues, we have a tendency to question everything. We have a tendency to make the bad really bad. Like if just like a little bit things happen with the world is falling apart, exaggerate the bad. And I'm glad to say that I'm not dealing with that anymore. But the early part of the company, there was a lot of that self-doubt that led to some bad decisions.
Very interesting. I know that's very personal, and thanks for sharing that with us. Um, let's talk about. I would really love to hear from you. What's the impact that you make in the context of wellness? I mean, there's people that, there's certain experiences that people achieve, but what's that common result that people who, work with wellness coach, what is that common result that they actually obtain?
Yeah, and I'll answer it in a couple ways. Like in all my companies, Tony, I've started so far, the biggest thing is having a feedback loop. So you create a product, you launch it, your sales force sells it, and then your customers are excited by it and they give you that feedback, like how amazed we are with this. With the product like Wellness Coach, if you go to the App Store, you can look at our ratings on Android or iOS, 5-star after 5-star, and the keyword people use is life changing. And every day somebody will say, I couldn't sleep at all, you fixed my insomnia, or I couldn't get out of bed, now I can get out of bed. And I'm like, that is so fulfilling to wake up every day and say, this is the company we're building, because somebody's going to tell us that we're actually doing good, and we actually get paid for it from the companies too. So you can't argue with that. But I think it's the feedback loop. It's really seeing that our work is getting recognized and it's getting utilized, and then improving on that. So initially we started as a mindfulness only company, then we added fitness, we added cardio, then we added financial wellness, because we realized, a lot of times stress is because you don't have a rainy day fund, you don't have a retirement plan, you don't know how you could save money. So that financial wellness part helps a lot with people getting their finances in order. And we continue to add more categories, like we added nutrition, we added cooking, how do you eat healthy, we added team challenges, so you can actually divide the company into different groups and you can encourage each other to get well together. Like, how great is that? So we're having a lot of fun building it, but it's really that feedback loop that we get constantly every day, multiple times a day, that whatever we're doing is helping people have a better life.
That's wonderful. And I love what you said. And I couldn't help not to think about, you know, it's an old thing I heard a long time ago. Business is personal, personal is business, right? If your personal life is such and such, it kind of crosses over in your business, whether you're an employee or a leadership position or a founder. And it's same vice versa. If things are not good here, then it crosses back over to personal. And I love what you said about how you're helping, people obtain that kind of wellness, because it's a triple win, right? One is you win because you get to drive your vision and make a difference, not a difference, but a positive difference. And then the second win is for the organization that makes that smart decision to work with you guys and to hire you guys. And then the third win is the person, the end user that actually works with you guys. So that's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you. And I think one more thing on that, Tony, we actually offer 5 free friends and family licenses for each employee license the company buys. So what that does is, if you want to give it to your kids, your spouse, you do it, and a lot of our company employers do it, and then they tell us, oh, my daughter is doing a TikTok dance with your with your coach, or my wife is doing yoga while I'm practicing this. So the way to think about mental health or wellness is just like you think about your healthcare plan, right? When the employer gives you the healthcare plan, it's for the whole family. Dental plan is for the whole family. So why should wellness be should for the employee, not for the whole family? So we actually made it completely free for them, for the family.
Wonderful. And as a successful leader, if you could give other future founders or existing founders that are running the grind every day, what's that one advice you could give them, that you could say, hey, that I could walk away with, or people listening, they could say, hey, D gave me this advice for me in the context of business? What would that be, D?
Yeah, I think this is very important, and I talk about this a lot. I think the main thing that has changed me as a leader has been accepting the truth right away. So acceptance is the big criteria, which means no matter what has happened. So let's say we just heard, oh, there's a COVID-19 virus. Don't challenge it that there's a virus. There's not a virus. Accept that there's a virus. Now there's a vaccine. Accept there's a vaccine. I think accepting the truth really quickly makes you a great leader, because then you're not trying to argue the reality or go against it. Like, there's 5 stages of, grief, like anger, fighting, and compromise. Get to acceptance as soon as possible. That's the most important. And I think with that, the other thing I do every day is write a journal. Every morning I wake up and I write my thoughts. And I have a purpose in life. My purpose is very simple: be better than yesterday. BTY. Very, very simple purpose. So I don't want to compete with anybody else. Just want to compete with myself. And every day I write, how am I getting better than yesterday? Acceptance is a big part of it. Writing the journal on exactly truth that I'm living is a big part of it. And oftentimes, it's the journey. Like having this time with you, Tony, it's the journey. It's not the destination. Enjoy the journey. So that sums my life up, basically.
I love that. And better than yesterday. That's a really good one. I've never heard that before. I'm going to start using that too. I'm going to give you credit for it as well. That's really cool. So, our show is sponsored by my company, which we do credit card payments. So I have a simple business related question that I ask a lot of people. Could your business survive without accepting credit card payments? Would you be able to survive if you did not
I
accept
don't think
payments?
so. Yeah, not in this economy, or not in this day and age.
Great. And then going back over to business, thanks for answering that. What is that? I know you have had a lot of success and you've helped a lot of organizations and people, but is there an outlier that sticks out the most that you could share with us? You could keep the person or organization unnamed, but I would love to hear the biggest one that you've helped that really sticks out for you. What would that be, D?
I think the first thing, I'm so fortunate that I've had so many people help me as my mentors or my coach. And I just try to do the same in turn and mentor and coach young entrepreneurs where I can. And I know there's one I'm helping right now that is very appreciative of what I'm doing for this individual, but that's what I can think of. But I would leave the person and company confidential.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay. Um, let's talk about your typical, like, what stage of a company, like what challenges would they be having which would make sense for them to contact you? So I have a company, my head count is this, but this is happening. Maybe I should talk to your organization about helping with wellness and everything. What would that be, D?
Yeah, so typically our customers are, 500 employees or more. Typically they're 2,000, 2,500 employees. The bigger the company becomes, the more the mental health problems or wellness problems, exist. And then they also have budgets to deal with, these solutions. Also, like companies that are remote, they're not in the same geographical area. Either they're remote because of COVID, or they're just geographically remote. A lot of our customers are global, and they want to have a single virtual solution that everybody can use. So typically, like we would work with, 500 to 10,000 employee company base, typically, have few offices than just one, or have a hybrid remote workforce.
Excellent. And if our listeners have any questions or if they'd like to find out more information, how could they find out more information?
Yeah, my email is very simple: d@wellnesscoach.live. They can reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to answer any questions they have.
Perfect. And your website address is wellnesscoach.live as well.
That's right. Yes.
Perfect. So as we're signing it off here, I'm going to ask you to sign us off with a one-word close, D. So what would that be?
Acceptance.
Why? Tell me why.
Because there's 6 stages of grief. We'd rather get to the last stage as soon as possible.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow. There you have it, folks. D, thank you so much for coming on to my show. And I love what you said. You gave us, it was value packed with a lot of gems. And I love the better than tomorrow. That was really great. And if you could just do 1%, a single digit, 1% better than be better tomorrow, that's really wonderful. So I can't wait to have you back on here again. And thanks again. And I think you're going to make a lot of difference to a lot of people, like you have been. So good luck with your grand vision.
Appreciate it, Tony. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, and great to have you. And thanks for listening. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. Till next time, onwards and upwards.